Welcome to the January 5th meeting of your Goldsboro City Council. Appreciate everyone being here. Wish everyone a happy new year and a happy and prosperous new year for the city of Goldsboro. We have a robust agenda with a number of public hearings this evening, as well as a number of different things that we'll be moving through. So with that, as is our tradition, we will begin with an invocation this evening from Father David Wiley, our police chaplain, followed by a pledge of allegiance, and then we will return for roll call. Father Wiley.
Let us pray. Gracious, loving, and almighty God, we give you thanks for the abundant blessings of this life. We thank you for this beautiful city. We thank you for its residents, those that visit it, and we thank you for those that you have called to be leaders of it. We ask that you, as we begin this new year, we ask that you bless this city. Bless it with its beauty, bless it with its contentment, and bless it with peace and comfort for all. We also ask your blessing upon this council as they make decisions that affect this city and its residents. And we ask that you pour your Spirit upon each of us so that when we leave this place, we may show forth your love with everyone that we meet. All this we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we're taking our seats, I'll remind everyone to please silence their cell phones. That goes double for me. All right, and iPads for that matter, I suppose. All right, Madam Clerk, if you please conduct a roll call.
Mayor Gaylor.
Present.
Councilwoman Jones.
Present.
Councilman Boyette.
Present.
Councilwoman Taylor.
Present.
Councilwoman Weeks.
Present.
Councilwoman Matthews. Councilman White.
Present. All right, all present and accounted for. As always, I appreciate everyone's time and commitment that it takes to be part of this council and try to move our city forward. We'll move to adoption of the agenda. Mr. Livingston, are there any staff requested changes?
No, sir, not that I'm aware of.
I didn't think of anything either, so just making sure. Council, are any requested changes to the agenda as presented? Hearing none, is there a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
So moved.
All right, motion's been made and properly seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we will call the vote. Madam Clerk, if you are able.
I need to add. Is it popping up for y'all?
All in favor of adopting the agenda? Oh, now it's up. There we go. Just needed me to spur it along. There we go. All in the affirmative, motion passed unanimously. The agenda is adopted as the business order of the day. Next, we'll move to section 4. We will begin with the administration of the oath for the Mayor Pro Tem office. Madam Clerk, if you would please walk us through this process, and I believe we have a guest here to administer the oath.
Yes, sir. They can come on up.
All right. If you would.
Well, good evening, council members, mayor. First of all, this is the first council meeting I've ever been to where you had an electronic voting system.
We're modernizing.
Now, I'm a nerd. That was really cool. I want to see your buttons at some point in time because it's pressing those buttons. So just appreciate what you do. Appreciate what you do, not just for Wayne County, but the city of Goldsboro and everything you do in between. And it's an honor to work with you. I look forward to working with you in the new year. But I had the distinct pleasure today to swear in the Mayor Pro Tem, Ms. Beverly Weeks. And so, Councilwoman Weeks, if you will come forward and bring your family, friends, and anybody else who wants to join in with you on this special occasion. And I always joke at swearing in that this is the fun part, the swearing in, and as soon as we're done, the swearing out will begin. So if you would, what I ask you to do is I ask you to put your raise your right hand, place your left hand on the Bible, And I'm going to say I, and then you state your name, and I'll finish reading the oath of office. And at the end, I'll say, so help me God, and you repeat that, so help me God. And so we'll go ahead and get started for the oath of office for the Mayor Pro Tem. I do solemnly and sincerely swear that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States, and that I will faithfully and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government therefore, that I will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution and laws of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of my knowledge and ability, that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as Mayor Pro Tem, so help me God.
I do. So help me God.
Congratulations, ma'am. You're officially sworn in as Mayor Pro Tem for the city of Goldsboro.
There's 3 of them.
John, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, welcome back. Next, we will move to item 4.2, which is a retirement resolution for a gentleman who has been with this city for more than 31 years. On a personal note, I highly doubt that Alan is watching this meeting this evening. I hope he has found something better to do with his time, but if he is, I'll just want to go on record as saying for the last decade plus, he has been an absolute gentleman in the position. He has supported this community through offering sessions with the Small Business Center to be able to help explain the process for going through starting a business in Goldsboro, and he absolutely was a model for how you can do things effectively and also with a kind and genuine way of conducting yourself. So again, just on a personal note, just wanted to put those things out there, as he and I have certainly had these conversations for a long time now. So with that, Resolution 2026-1. In council, I will read the resolution and then ask for a motion to adopt the resolution. Resolution 2026-1, a resolution expressing appreciation for services rendered by Alan Anderson Jr. as an employee of the City of Goldsboro for more than 31 years. Whereas Alan Anderson Jr. retired on December 31st, 2025 as Building Codes Administrator with more than 31 years of service with the City of Goldsboro. And whereas Alan began his career on November 30th, 1994 as Building Codes Inspector 2 with the Inspections Department. And whereas on April 1st, 2013, Alan was promoted to Building Codes Administrator, where he served until his retirement. And whereas Alan has demonstrated exceptional dedication and efficiency in his service, earning the respect and admiration of his colleagues and the citizens of the City of Goldsboro. And whereas the Mayor and City Council of the City of Goldsboro are desirous on behalf of themselves, city employees, and the citizens of the City of Goldsboro of expressing to Alan Anderson Jr. their deep appreciation and gratitude for the service rendered by him to the city over the years. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and City Council of the City of Goldsboro, North Carolina, that we express to Alan Anderson Jr. our very best wishes for success, happiness, prosperity, and good health in his future endeavors. This resolution shall be incorporated into the official minutes of the City of Goldsboro and shall be in full force and effect from and after this, the 5th day of January 2026. Council, may I have a motion to adopt the resolution?
Second.
Motion having been made and properly seconded to adopt the resolution. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible. Have any others coming in?
Two.
All right. All in favor, please vote by show of hands. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes. There we go. That'll allow you to complete the vote. Perfect. All right. Next, we'll move straight into our public hearings. We'll begin with item 5.1. Mr. Livingston, if you have anything to add. If not, we'll pull up a representative from planning.
I think we have Mr. Helmer here to explain the extension they're requesting.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. First case before you, conditional zoning 0424 Tucker Trace. The applicant from Bartlett Engineering, the representative of the project, is requesting a 30-day continuance of this proposal. Mr. Bartlett is here if you'd like to speak.
Okay. I think it would be appropriate, as we discussed at our agenda setting meeting, I think it would be appropriate to still open the public hearing, allow if anyone did make time to come this evening and speak, we'll hear their words and their comments, and then council can deliberate about if we would like to grant that continuance. Is that seem appropriate, Mr. Elmer?
That sounds wonderful.
All right. And also, I believe there was a letter that was submitted to council that was desired to be incorporated into the record. I believe that was from Mr. Henry Smith, representing a number of the residents. Ms. Getz, you have a copy of that letter as well.
Yes, sir.
Which can then be, of course, made publicly available as well as part of the official record of the meeting. Council, everyone I know received a copy of that. Just want to make sure that everything is on the record. So with that, if it's the right thing to do, we'll reopen the public hearing.
Okay.
And ask if anyone is interested in coming forward and speaking. So everyone, this is a public hearing, item 5.1 on our agenda. It is conditional zoning, or CZ 425, for Tucker Trace. Is anyone here to come forward and speak? Second call, anyone wishing to come forward and speak on item 5.1? Third and final call, anyone wishing to come forward and speak on CZ 425 Tucker Trace? All right, hearing none. The applicant, as Mr. Helmer stated, has requested another 30-day continuance. That is certainly can be done at the pleasure of council. Is there any comment, concern, or a motion to continue this public hearing until the first meeting in February?
I make a motion that we continue it until the first meeting in February.
Okay. Motion has been made and properly seconded to continue this public hearing until the first meeting in February. Is there any debate on that?
Mayor, February the 2nd.
February 2nd. That way we can put it in the record for a date certain. February 2nd. All right. So with that, we'll. Is there any debate?
Who was the motion and second? Sorry, Ms. Stipin.
Councilwoman Jones made the motion, and did you second? Yeah, sorry, you made the motion, and then Councilwoman Jones seconded.
Thank you.
There we go. All right, is there any debate? Hearing none, please vote electronically if possible. No one. Perfect. All right, all votes having been cast, vote in the affirmative. This public hearing is continued until the first meeting in February.
Just for the record again,
Yes.
Mayor, February 2nd.
February
Right.
2nd, yes. All right, we will move into item 5.2. Mr. Livingston, do you have anything to add, or do we go straight to planning? All right.
Thank you. The second case for you, which is RZ 05-25 Glenda Blanding. I received an email from Glenda Blanding requesting in writing that this request to rezone the property be removed from consideration.
Okay.
Okay.
This is getting far too efficient. So with that, council, would any action need to be taken by council to officially remove this, or just simply she would be considered a withdrawal?
I think you just still need to go ahead and just open the public hearing and just inform
Okay.
the public that it's being, that requested to be withdrawn.
Okay.
Opportunity to speak, but then after that, you close it, nobody speaks, you can close it, go ahead and vote to approve the withdrawal.
Okay.
That'd be the most efficient.
Let's do it that way then. All right. So, Mr. Elmer, is there any briefing? If we're going to open the public hearing, do you mind going and delivering the brief so that folks know what they would be commenting on, even if?
Yeah, I'd be glad to do that.
All right.
Yeah. So the proposal was a approximately 21,000 square foot piece of property owned by Glenda Blanding. The current zoning was R16, and the request was to rezone to a residential manufactured home district with RM-9. The land use did call for medium density residential at this location. The surrounding properties were all currently zoned R16 with a little bit RM9 nearby. The property map here, the zoning map here shows the RM9 immediately across the street, immediately adjacent to, and then a couple of lots throughout the general area that was currently zoned for RM9. So the purposes are R16 is for low density residential. RM9 is essentially the same district but allows for manufactured homes, which the R16 does not. So the current land use plan again calls for medium density residential in this vicinity. I should note that the property is just outside of the corporate limits, so if she was to rezone and extend sewer and water to the site to build a manufactured home, she would have to extend water and sewer to the location as well as request annexation. City's land use plan locates this parcel in the medium density residential land use designation. Medium density residential land use categories will accommodate medium density single family residential uses and prohibit all activities of commercial nature except certain home occupations. This is a rezoning proposal of approximately 0.4 acres to be rezoned from R16 to RM9. All permitted uses in the residential RM9 zoning district could be considered as potential uses for the site. Subject property formerly known as Central Heights Subdivision and located east of Tiffany Gardens. The site is currently occupied by Woodlands. Staff has distributed this proposed rezoning request to City Engineering and Fire Marshal's office. Only since this is a straight rezoning request, city water and sewer are available to serve the site. The property is not located in special flood hazard area. The applicant specifically is requesting the proposal be removed from consideration because of the cost of extending water, sewer annexation. So she just didn't think the value was there, so she elected to request the proposal be removed from consideration. That's pretty much all I have. If you'd like have any questions of me, I'd be glad to answer.
Just a
Yes,
quick,
please.
quick question. It's on the same side as Tiffany Gardens?
You might have to help me out.
It is?
Yes, I think that is
So it's
Tiffany
in your
Gardens, right?
district?
That's the
Okay,
towards
gotcha.
the back.
That's the
end of
only reason I
subdivision.
asked.
Yeah, so. Any other questions of me?
Just procedurally, so council knows its options, we could vote to reject, which would kind of be a moot point because it's being withdrawn, but would a rejection impact a future like request? Like if we want.
No, there's no precedent. It's, I
Okay.
mean, essentially, it's a case-by-case basis.
Okay, perfect. So there's no point in voting on it to approve or reject when it's being asked to withdraw.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I wouldn't think so.
Or just wanted to make sure that council truly understood its options. All right. So with that, we will open the public hearing. Even though, as was discussed, this one was requested to be removed. But as it was advertised, the right thing to do is still allow anyone to come forward and speak. So we will open a public hearing, item 5.2, RZ 525 on our agenda. Does anyone wish to come forward and speak? Second call, anyone wishing to come forward and speak on item 5.2, RZ 525? Third and final call, anyone wishing to come forward and speak on RZ 525, item 5.2 on our agenda? All right, seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Council would entertain a motion to accept the withdrawal per staff's recommendation.
So moved.
All right, motion's been made and properly seconded. All right, made and seconded. To approve the, wait, wrong vote. Yank that down.
Sorry, hold on. Sorry.
All in favor of allowing the withdrawal vote by show of hands? All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. There you go. Good. Perfect. All right. Item 5.3. Special use permit, council. Before we get into these next two, just a reminder, special use permits are the 4-vote test. Mr. Lawrence, do you have anything to add about the quasi-judicial or the weight of evidence or anything like that for the special use? Any standard briefing that you want to offer?
Just a reminder that the only evidence to be considered is evidence presented here today. You can't do an independent investigation. You can't talk to people outside of the meeting about it. If somebody calls or emails you, that cannot be considered. If you've had some sort of contact like that and have had some contact back and forth, you need to let everybody else know if that's occurred. And then additionally, as far as any evidence about property values or traffic has to be presented by an expert. Any testimony given by somebody of the general public about their thoughts of those things cannot be considered, cannot be given weight. That'd be my brief summary on that.
That's perfect. Just wanted to be a reminder for myself and those of us who are going to have to express an opinion. All right, so we'll move to item 3, SU 725. Mr. Lucy, do you have anything to add, or do we go straight to planning?
No, just go straight to, you covered everything.
Come on.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Happy New Year. Let's see, tonight, again, we'll be discussing 2 special use permits. The first one, SU 725, is for a bar. This will be classified as a place of entertainment with ABC. This location of this property is going to be located on the west side of 117 North between Carolina Commerce Drive and Tommy's Road. As you'll see, the owner is Mr. Paul Williams. Mr. Williams, are you here tonight? Yes, sir. Thank you. Let's see, the applicant, the owner is Paul T. Williams. The applicant, Andrew Farms of Wayne County, Inc. Let's see. I believe that is a typo. It should be the applicant being Mr. Paul T. Williams and the owner being Andrew Farms of Wayne County, Inc. The current zoning for the property is general business. As you'll recall, the general business zoning district recently, for this property, received a change of zone use for a portion of the subject property on December the 1st, 2025. The existing land use was for a convenience store with fuel gas sales. Land use designation is mixed use 2. The applicant's requesting a special use permit again to allow for a place of entertainment with ABC permits to sell alcohol at 2606 North Williams Street. The employees for this operation will consist of 6 days and hours of operations Monday through Sunday, proposing from 12 noon to 2 a.m. The approval criteria for this place of entertainment is that no establishment shall be located within 200 feet of any residentially zoned or developed property, church, or school. If it is separated from a residentially zoned or developed property by a 4-lane highway, the 200-foot separation shall only apply to the properties along the sides and the rear of the establishment. No establishment shall be located within 100 feet and 50 feet of any other such establishment. You know, let's go ahead and do that now. If you'll excuse me, I should have been sworn in right again. My apologies, Lord. Let's see. Did I do that right? I'm sorry.
Left on the Bible, closest to the heart.
Okay, thanks.
Always
Appreciate
remember
that.
Closest to the heart is the Bible.
All right, moving forward. No establishment, again, as part of the approval criteria, shall be located within 100 feet of any other such establishment, and any outdoor activities associated with the POE must specifically be approved as part of any associated review and approval process. According to the applicant's submitted floor plan, the proposed bar will consist of 3 pool tables, seating for approximately 35 people, restrooms, and a storage area. If the special use is approved, the site will be required to meet the development regulations of the city's UDO, and a building permit and final inspection will be required for the upfit of the existing tenant space to ensure that all life safety and building codes have been satisfied before occupying the facility. So here is a picture illustrating the current zoning of the property. Again, the property being what you see here is the existing facility. And of course, here is the part that was recently rezoned that is currently, if this special use permit is approved, it will have to be annexed into the city of Goldsboro before any upfit or any development approvals can take place in the future. We currently have received the application for annexation, and this will be following in the coming months the procedural due processes. Here's the comprehensive land use plan showing mixed use 2. Here's an illustration of the floor plan of the property, for the property. Here's the kitchen area, the bar, pool tables. These are just approximations with entries at the front and back and sides of the facility. Staff evaluation. Planning staff have reviewed the request in accordance with the UDO and our comprehensive land use plan and have no objections to this proposed use. At this time, council can ask staff of any questions they may have. Any person wishing to speak or give testimony may do so after they've been sworn in properly. And after council hears anyone who wishes to speak, the mayor shall close the public hearing and council shall enter into deliberation. And I'll leave the findings to you, Mayor, in order to determine if the special use permit shall be issued. Again, please refer to your worksheet. And if you have any questions of staff, of course, we're here to help answer those questions. Mayor, I'll conclude my presentation tonight.
All right, council, are there any questions for Mr. Talton at this time? All right, hearing none, it is our practice that we then invite the applicant up to come and deliver a brief if they so choose, or hear any questions from council, and then we open the public hearing for everyone else to be able to comment or bring forward concerns. But it makes sense to hear from the applicant so that everyone knows what it is that they're actually here to talk about. So with that, if you're interested in coming forward to speak and state what it is that you're going to be doing, you're welcome to do so.
We'll get her first.
There you go. There you go.
Raise your right hand. Left hand. Right hand. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Do you solemnly swear that the comments you're about to make are the truth and nothing but the truth?
Thank you.
Sure.
That's the first time I've been here. So, I've been in Goldsboro since 2002. I opened the staff I'm in now, 2011, and it's been doing real good. I got a lot of pool players that trying to find more places to go to, so that's why I'm trying to open another business up. I have another business too that I opened up in 2018, but it's so small you can't do nothing with it. So that's why I'm trying to get another business opened up.
I saw, just one quick question for me. I saw in your drawing that there was a kitchen area.
Yes.
Will you be having food, or is that?
Yes.
Okay.
But it sounds kind of weird, but like Wanda's, they got a grill and all that stuff. I'm trying to stick with just air fryers, hot dogs, and pizzas.
Okay. Just keep it simple.
Yes.
Council, any questions for the applicant? Hearing none, just have a seat. We may call you back up if there are any additional questions. Okay. All right. So with that, we'll open the public hearing for item 5.3. I don't see any hands up for any immediate questions right now. So we'll open up the public hearing for item 5.3. This is SU 725. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak? Second call. This is item 5.3 on our agenda, SU 725. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak? Okay. Third and final call. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak on SU 725, item 5.3 on our agenda? All right. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Council, it is now our time to deliberate. There's the four-part test. There's the worksheet in the agenda packet, as well as on our on the dashboard here for us. What comments, questions do we have for staff? Or are there are folks ready to make some motions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm trying to figure out exactly where this is located.
Mr. Talton, would you please come back up and go back to the map, and let's make sure that we're all very clear.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Okay, so if you are traveling on North William Street and you come to the intersection of Patetown Road and William, if you'll go through that intersection, you will come to, of course, all that's been a part of the widening project. After you pass Griffin Steel, which is on your left, I believe T.A. Loving has a Stores laydown yard also on the left. And I believe just after you pass that, you will see a road that extends off to the left, as you see down here, off of William Street. This is where Commerce Drive is located. But again, the Circle K is immediately to the north of the proposed
old gas
property.
station.
Yes, ma'am. What the old gas station? Yes, ma'am. And then you have the Circle K, and beyond that is the new 42, the new highway exchange.
So that's also in close proximity to where the proposal is for this new residential area as well, correct?
That is correct. It will be directly across the street here is property that was once looked at by Mallard Oil, and Mallard Oil withdrew their request. And so beyond that property, which was the gas station, is where you would have the residential subdivision by the name of Tucker Trace off of Tommy's Road, and which you have currently continued for the next hearing. And I believe that from our last discussion, Tucker Trace, I think they may have entertained interest in buying that property that's directly across the street as well. So.
Yes, sir.
And just to clarify, because the Tucker Trace development is across the 4-lane, then it would be exempt from any spacing related to residential.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was right.
Say that again. Can you repeat that, Chris?
The Tucker Trace is across the 4-lane, and so therefore it's not subject to spacing requirements when it's separated by a 4-lane highway. It would only be subject to the spacing requirements for the things on the same side of the road with it, which is all the GB stuff.
Okay.
I think it was phrased as as sort of a declarative statement, but I think it was meant to confirm if that is correct. I think it was meant as a question. Mr. Talton, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Mr. Talton, I have one question as well, since you brought that up. Right there on Commerce Drive, located behind the gas station, is a kids' play area. And I was wondering, are there any stipulations as far as how far apart that can be from that kids' play area? There's a commercial business there for children.
Really nice indoor playground area.
At this time, no, ma'am, I don't see any stipulations.
Council, any other comments? Yes, sir.
Are you referring to the building? I think it's purple. And am I off a notch?
No, it is.
It used to be Best Commercial.
Yeah, it was. It
Okay.
was Best
Then
Commercial.
I'm unfamiliar with that.
Yep.
Okay.
It is further up Carolina Commerce, right there where Kenny's pointer is, right
Okay.
there.
Uh-huh.
And they have the bottom, if you're facing the building, bottom left, couple of storefronts in there. It's a nice indoor children's playground.
Gotcha.
looking for birthday party venues. I'm not a business partner in that. I'm just noting that it is there.
That's right. That's correct.
I think that was helpful when you did the pointer and
Yes, yes,
where it was in correlation.
absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Council, any other comments, questions for Mr. Talton? Hearing none, there are 4 motions that we will need to go through. The first one relates to any material endangerment to the public health or safety. We would either need to vote that it would be a danger to public health or safety or would not be a danger to public health or safety. I need a motion one way or the other.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Mayor, that this request would not endanger.
The public health or safety?
That is
All right.
correct.
Motion's been made. Is there a second? Is there a second? All right, motion fails for lack of second. Are there any other questions, or is there a motion to table this item for a future meeting if there is additional questions that need to be asked? Is there a motion to the contrary to say that it would?
Could we table this? I have concerns about the children.
Okay.
I would second that motion
All
if
right.
that's in the form of a motion.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Mhm.
All right. So a motion has been made and properly seconded to table item 5.3 SU 725 to, the public hearing has already been closed. This would be tabled until the first meeting in February when we generally hear land use planning matters. Between that time, there would of course need to be any conversations or any concerns, handled with staff, so that we can then ultimately make a decision. That motion having been made and properly seconded, is there any debate on that? Hearing none, it's my obligation to work through that motion. We'll have to call a vote on the motion to table. So with that, please vote electronically if possible. All votes having been cast, this matter has been tabled to the February 2nd council meeting. Any questions and concerns between now and then, please, council, please do get with planning staff, and that way we can ultimately give a thumbs up or thumbs down. Thank you, council.
Just caution that
Yes.
if you direct the questions to staff don't answer them. They need to be answered in here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay?
That's correct.
Perfect. All right, so with that, we will move to, let me make a note here. We'll move to item 5.4, SU 925. Again, council, this is a special use, same stipulations are going to have to, the evidentiary weight that Mr. Lawrence already briefed us on is in effect, and the 4 motion test is in effect. So with that, we will move to item SU 925. Mr. Livingston, do you have anything to add or go straight to Mr. Talton?
No.
Mr. Talton, if you would, please.
Thank you, sir. As the mayor said, we're now going to be reviewing case SU 925. This will be for a proposed convenience store with no fuel cells located at 1515 East Ash Street. This will be at the corner of East Ash Street and North Jefferson Street. The owner that we have listed on file is 1 Hour Cleaners and Laundry, care of Mr. Brian Foster. The applicant is Mr. Maheen Abdul Alashwa. Mr. Alashwa, are you present tonight? Yes. Thank you. The current zoning is neighborhood zoning district. Existing land use is a dry cleaning business. Land use designation is office and institutional. The request again is for a place of a convenience store without fuel gas sales. The days and hours of operation are Monday through Sunday, 24 hours, 7 days a week. The employees would be 2. According to the applicant's submitted floor plan, the proposed convenience store will provide drive-through services and shall consist of aisles, multi-level counters and shelves, coolers and refrigerators, all to utilize for product display and sales. Storage areas, a mechanical room, and employee restrooms will be provided. If the special use permit is approved, the site will be required to meet the development regulations of the city's Unified Development Code. In addition, a building permit and final inspection will be required for the upfit of the existing facility to ensure that all life and safety codes have been satisfied before occupying the facility. So here's the location again: East Ash Street, North Jefferson Street. The current zoning for the property again is neighborhood business. To the west of the property is office and institutional. To the north of the property is a parcel that is zoned neighborhood business. North of that is predominantly residential. Across the street along Jefferson, you'll see a property, King's Convenience Store, is also located there. And there's an adjacent property that's zoned neighborhood business. And to the north of that, predominantly residential in nature. To the south of the property is property that is zoned office and institutional that is for sale as we speak. Properties along the east corridor, along East Ash Street, are predominantly office and institutional and office and residential. This is the current land use plan for this East Ash Street corridor. At this time, the plan shows predominantly those properties along East Ash Street as being developed for office and institutional use. Here is a picture of the property along East Ash Street. You'll notice the existing King's Convenience Store across the street. Here's a floor plan of their site plan at this time. If it were to be approved, we would consider this site as meeting our UDO. There are some changes that are needed at this time. Outside of that, this is a detail of the store itself. You will see in the front of the store, here's where the proposed drive-through would be. This would be East Ash Street along the right side of your monitor, with a entrance off the front. Again, this is the grocery or the display area, shelves, coolers, refrigerators. And going to the rear of the facility is a storage room, and of course a mechanical room and restrooms for employees of the facility. So the comprehensive land use plan that we've already spoke of shows this as being designated as office and institutional. Properties in the vicinity and adjacent to the subject property are predominantly located in office and institutional and residential zoning districts. Businesses include financial services, beauty salons, real estate, property management, and insurance services. The proposed use at this time is not compatible with existing land uses and development patterns along East Ash Street. The proposed use also is not consistent with the city's comprehensive land use plan. Mayor, I'll turn it back over to you to answer any questions or ask any questions you or council may have, and we'll be glad to do so at your direction.
All right. Councilor, any questions for Mr. Talton at this time?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Townsend, I don't know if this is a silly question or not, but do we have like a product list? So am I to assume that this will be a place to get vapes and THC and all the other items 24 hours a day?
That's a good question. We do not have an inventory list. We have been provided with information where the floor space would not consist of 25% or more vape sales. For that reason alone, it does not qualify as having to meet the distance separation requirements from another vape store. Again, the applicant is here. I'd encourage you to ask questions for what type of products he will have in the store, and I'll leave it at that.
I have one follow-up question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the convenience store beside it what is their hours of operations?
I do not know
Okay.
that answer.
Question.
Please.
Do you know if this applicant, if they have any other businesses in the city that they are currently running?
Councilman Taylor, I'm not aware of that. I know that there is a connection to the King's convenience store directly across the street.
There's a what now?
There is a connection there.
Okay.
Again, I have to defer back to Mr. Olashawal.
Okay, so we would need to ask him that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
I see your hand up, Councilwoman?
Yes. Help me understand, so if this is approved, we will have two convenience stores side by side selling the same things, except for one will have a drive-through.
They will be directly across the street from each other. And again, when it comes to their inventory, we can assume that they will be selling similar products, but without a list or an inventory list, I could not tell you exactly what they will be selling compared to what King's is currently selling at this time.
Well, for the record, that question will direct to the applicant, so ensure
Yes.
that we're not getting conjecture or opinion-based evidence, but that way we can actually ask the applicant directly.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Yes, sir?
Quick question for our attorney. Is it appropriate in the process when we're handling them as such here to ask staff whether or not the applicant or the connected business is in good standing with the city, or would that be not appropriate?
Let's find out that question.
I cannot answer that question for you without conferring with our police department.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
If that's what you mean by good standing, of course, that's up for debate as to what that might mean.
Right.
Whether that's a zoning issue, a code enforcement issue, law enforcement issue, it brings, I think, a lot of different things under that umbrella.
And that was really an umbrella kind of question. Just, of the things that could be an issue or anything, is there anything an issue? That was all.
Just a caution to council not to consider that unless there is specific evidence presented as to those questions. Okay.
Well, I was just kind of piggybacking off of Councilman Boyette's question. So you said that we would need to ask Chief West the question about crime, but maybe what about with the city as far as any violations or?
Within the planning department, I'm not aware of any violations currently on site or across the street at King's Convenience Store.
Okay.
You can ask those questions, okay, but you also recall the 4 questions you have to answer.
Right.
The evidence has to be specific as to those 4 questions too.
Right, I understand.
All right.
All right. Anything else for Mr. Talton?
I have one question,
Yes, ma'am,
Mayor.
please.
So, in reviewing this weekend and looking at the paperwork that you guys submitted to us, I did note that you had said the land use was inconsistent. How about the parking in that small area? Was it conducive to what the individual was asking for?
It was. I believe with the information we have at this time that parking would be sufficient for the facility.
All right, council, I'm not seeing any other hands or, yes, sir, go ahead.
So just to clarify then, the staff's statement that was included in the brief was that it is not compatible with the land use plan or consistent with what's in the area.
Yes, sir. I'll be glad to elaborate on that if you'd like.
Could you elaborate?
I'd be glad to. Be glad to. So again, in the report, in the agenda memo, and in the presentation, you'll notice we brought up that it was in an office and institutional, predominantly surrounded by office and institutional uses. This use is not compatible with the surrounding uses around the proposed convenience store. There is a store directly across the street. It is also neighborhood business. But if you look to the right of the existing store, convenience store of King's, there's a church going eastward. To the rear of the facility, again, you'll find another neighborhood business zoning district. I don't know that it's being used as such. I want to say that it's being used right now for residential. We need to check that to clarify that. But again, those were some of the reasons that we decided that it was incompatible. With regards to the land use plan, a lot of times office and institutional uses serve as a transitional district between higher intensity uses and residential uses. This is something that is spelled out in our land use plan that the city should look at in monitoring and enforcing when it comes to development of plans and of businesses locating within that district. When it comes to the actual land use map, if you look at the land use map, you'll see that it is, again, office and institutional predominantly in that corridor. And that is something that is the proposed use, again, as being a neighborhood business, is not in accordance with the map. So we based our decision or our facts, our comments, based off the map itself, the plan, the comprehensive plan, and the UDO, what the current zoning. Again, we have no personal preference whatsoever. We're just listing the facts of what we believe are the facts of the case on behalf of the planning department as to the statements that were been made. I hope that answered your question.
Council, any other questions for Mr. Talton before we invite the applicant up? Yes, ma'am. Please.
Just refresh my memory. Did he say if Kings is 24 hours as well?
He was not sure, and so we'll direct that question to the applicant.
Okay.
So, if there is a connection, if he's able to answer that question.
Well,
Again, I want to be.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
No,
was
you're
just
fine.
curious if there was.
You don't need to apologize. You're spot on with questions. All right. So with that, Mr. Talton, we'll relieve you from the podium for a few minutes.
Yes, sir.
And I believe the applicant, I believe he did, I believe I heard someone say that they were here, right? If the applicant is interested in coming forward before we get into the actual public hearing itself, we would hear any sort of comments or brief from the applicant. Yes. Here, come forward if you would, please. And please approach the city clerk.
Yes.
Welcome, sir.
How you doing? I'm Ash Morshid. I'm from Farmville. I'm just speaking for him because he's English very limited. Yeah. So about the two convenience stores, that's owned to my family from my father's side of the family. And so the difference between the two convenience stores, that one got alcohol, this one doesn't. That one doesn't have a drive-through, this one it does. And about the traffic, that's what she said, the traffic to the parking lot. We ran like a small traffic and it was perfect. Yeah, no THC products, no vapes, nothing will harm the community as well. And
So I believe two questions that I remember hearing. One was, do you know the store next door, since you did say that it was associated, is that one also 24 hours?
I think opens around 8, closes around 11, 12, I'm not sure.
Okay. So it's not 24 hours.
It's not 24 hours.
And do you mind elaborating a little bit on the product mix for the proposed store?
The product is going to be drinks, chips, snacks, cans, groceries. Yeah, but it's no alcohol at all.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, Walmart closes at 11, 12. Food Line closes at 10. Yeah.
Council, what comments, questions do you have for the applicant?
I have one.
Yes, ma'am, please.
I just did a quick Google search.
Yes.
And it says that King's Discount Deli, would that be it? The one across the street?
Yes.
It closes at 1 a.m. Is that accurate?
I don't think so. I believe it closes the latest 12 or 11. I'm not sure though. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes,
you
ma'am.
said this, how are you related to the person that owns Kings?
We are family. Yeah.
So close relatives, cousins,
Yeah,
brothers,
cousins.
dads? parents?
Yeah, cousins.
Okay, and so are any of them here for you to ask what time you guys actually close, or?
So
they
my
actually
cousin,
close?
the one he owns the King's Deli, he's in Wilson running his other gas station. He owns a gas station, one in Greenville and one in Wilson.
Okay.
Yes. And I lease from his father in Farmville.
Okay.
Are we able to, for the record, I don't know that we've gotten conclusive evidence of the actual hours of operation, other than definitively saying it's not 24 hours. Is that the correct synopsis for the record?
I would ask that question for that to be stated.
So the hours of operation, to the best of your knowledge, stating on behalf of the applicant, is King's Deli and Grocery, is it a 24-hour store?
No, it's not a 24 hours.
Okay. That can be on the record, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Council, what other comments, questions do we have? Yes, ma'am, please.
I think the applicant is trying to get your attention. I don't know what that looks like, but he.
Given that you're kind of serving as translator
Yeah.
here, we'll allow it if you go back
Yeah.
and.
Okay.
That's okay. Go
Can
ahead.
they come up here with me?
Yeah. Yeah. If. Okay. And if you would come all the way back up to the microphone, so it's just, we're recording and transcribing.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let me correct the King's hours. It's from 8 to 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
8 a.m. 8 a.m.
From
1
8 a.m. to 1 a.m.
1 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So not 24 hours, but
Yeah,
8
it's
to 1.
not 24
There you go.
hours.
So it is accurate. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions for the applicant? We can always, after the public hearing, ask them to return to the podium if it's the pleasure of council.
I wish if I could bring some people from the community to bring them with me, but
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. If you would please have a seat, we will open the public hearing and allow anyone else to
Well,
come
thank
forward.
you, everyone. It's nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Mhm. All right, everyone. This is a public hearing for item 5.4 on our agenda, SU 925. Is there anyone wishing to come forward and speak? And if you would, just approach the clerk.
Phyllis Merritt James, 503 Cardinal Drive. My question with this is, we're in dire need of someone with a gas station there instead of having duplicity across the street. I know there's a lot of people that, from 1 to 7, nothing happens good after 1 o'clock in the morning anyway. So if they're hungry and want to get something, they should be able to get to that store that's already established across there. But ideally, it would be great if we could have a gas station because we don't have anything in that area doing the cut through. That's my comment.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is there anyone else wishing to come forward and speak on item 5.4 SU 925? If you would please approach the clerk.
Switch it.
Hard up here.
Hello, Council. Chris Cox, Cox Properties, 104 Twin Oaks Place, Goldsboro. Could I get the map brought back up, Kenny? I represent the landowners of the property across the street, Miss Mooring and Mr. Gurley. As a lot of you guys have been here a long time, it's the vacant property now, and it used to be the daycare. It's right.
If you would come back to the microphone and state that just for the transcription.
Used to be a daycare there, but they got it cleaned up after a hurricane blew a big oak tree through it. But we've had it for sale quite some time now, and to be honest, we could have sold it 100 times if it had been zoned for a similar type use as these gentlemen are trying to do here. I have nothing to say bad about it against their business. It's just not in the right place. This, as you can see, the corridor here is all office and institutional. The only reason that King's Convenience Store is there is because the convenience store was there prior to the land use plan that we now have, and that's the only reason it is there. And it's for that case the dry cleaners as well. Now, if the council and the staff want to change that and change it to where they would allow some retail use, I could sell it tomorrow. I could sell it for coffee shop, pastries, restaurant. I mean, there are umpteen different types of uses. I mean, O&I is it's a hard deal. You know, everybody knows how office is right now. Well, if you don't, there's a lot of it. So, I think, and Ms. Moran thinks that if you do choose to change it to a retail type use, she would be expecting the same. And so would a lot of other people along this corridor. So just keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone else wishing to come forward and speak for SU 925? We'll do our third and final call, just for the record, on SU 925, item 5.4 on our agenda. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Council, we have the 4-part test that we worked through on our worksheet. I know is again part of the packet, also part of the dashboard in Civic Plus. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Talton, if you'd like to come back.
Thank you, Mayor.
I was getting there. My next question was going to be, does anyone else have anything for Mr. Talton or the applicant?
Thank you. I would be remiss if I wanted to bring up something that I had to be careful with, but I want to try to watch my words here. With regards to the property, the map right now showed King's Convenience Store. I know that we currently, the applicant had applied for ABC at the store, and we have internal affairs, our officer with Goldsboro PD that had actually looked at the site for new ABC permits to be issued. The officer in charge for making those recommendations on the local opinion form that we have to approve before ABC can be issued, he gave his recommendation. The recommendation, I want to say at this time, I believe looked at the property and its history in the past, not at the applicant. Not at the applicant. I do, again, because of the officer who has provided that information, I do recall there having an ABC permit, a new permit application that, if I'm not mistaken, was actually approved. But because this officer may be looking at this meeting tonight, I wanted to let him know, for the record, that I'm sharing that information with you. But it shouldn't, at this point in time, I don't want to give any bearing on this proposal. And at the same time, the only other thing I wanted to say, I do know, and Manager Livingston can allude to it more than I can, but with regards to property just north of the facility, I believe it's the old Edgewood School, is that right? I believe the city of Goldsboro is under a lease for Parks and Recreation to utilize that facility for some of their program services.
Parks and Recreation.
Yes, that's
yes,
correct.
Sir. Yes, sir. And I just say, going back to the land use plan, the applicant spoke of, I believe it was no alcohol, is that right? Or was
that was stated on the record that there would not be alcohol
no
sales.
alcohol. And the only other question I would ask is there going to be any cigarettes or tobacco sales? Because the ordinance was actually, or the land use plan was pretty specific about that these type of facilities would be discouraged around youth-centered facilities. Even though it's maybe just a stone's throw from it, it's something that we use to consider. So that was a consideration as well. But again, there's a lot of issues that Mr. Lawrence, we have to be particular about, and we can't assume anything. We have to, everything based off of facts, factual testimony. But I did want to throw that out there because I felt like I owed that to the Goldsboro Police Department, and because I did not remember that until just now. And so far as the new use of that facility, that kind of, again, goes along with the comprehensive land use plan. If you have any other questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Yes, sir, please.
I know he said there wouldn't be any vapes and alcohol there, but did he?
Did not.
That's what I want.
And if you'd like, I can ask him to come back.
I just want to
inquire. Okay. All right. Would a representative of the applicant come back to the podium for a clarifying question? Councilman White, if you'd
Yes,
like
sir.
to.
I know you. I understand that you said there would be
Yes.
no vapes or THC and that nature. But
Yeah.
will you be selling cigarettes?
It will be like 25%.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was just, nothing. I remember he told us about the food and stuff.
All right.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Just kind of commenting on Miss James made a comment about the proximity of other stores, but there is a mobile gas station. Is it Mobile or MOBIL?
Yep.
That, if I'm not mistaken, used to be 24 hours. I'm not sure if it still is. So there is that convenience there within that proximity too. Just wanted to put that out there.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
I have one question for you. Can you show me the proximity to the church?
Yes, here is a church here. I do not know the denomination.
And then right behind where the cleaners used to be, that would be residential right there.
I was going to say it's its own neighborhood business, but I do believe it is residential. Yes, I know it is.
So, council, as you collect any final questions, I'll just remind you there are 4 motions. Any motion coming into the negative, all 4 have to be positive for this to be for this special use permit to be issued. Any one in the negative, prohibits the issuance of the special use permit. If there are no remaining questions for staff or for the applicant, I would entertain motions. The first one would relate to the materiality of any danger to public health or safety, a motion that it would or would not.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
If there would be a motion to table this, would it?
Absolutely.
Okay. I would like to make a motion that we table this until our next council meeting, or the February 2nd date.
Okay. February 2nd would be the next one that we hear land use. And so if you're making a motion, the motion has been made that we table the vote, or table the votes on item SU 925 until the February 2nd.
Tabling the public hearing in
So the
general
public-
as well. Is it closed? That's one to make sure I
Right.
clarified.
That's why I was clarifying
Okay.
the vote on this public
What's-
hearing.
what's her motion?
Right, public hearing has been closed unless you want to table and continue the public hearing. It's up to you.
No. I'm okay with closing the public hearing.
Yeah.
I want to table the actual vote.
Perfect. So a motion has been made to table the vote on SU 925 until the February 2nd meeting of the City Council. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion has been made and properly seconded to table the vote on SU 925. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Wait just a second. Let's get the right vote up.
Something happened, sorry.
That's all right. So all in favor of tabling the vote, please vote by show of hands. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes. Item SU 925 is tabled until the February 2nd meeting.
I just remind council that between now and February 2nd, with regards to the last 2 items, these are both special use permits, no independent investigation, they're talking to people, that sort of thing, only considering the evidence presented here.
Gotcha.
All right, thank you.
Council clear on that? All right, perfect. So with that, we will move into our public comment period, section 6 of our agenda. Ms. Getz, please.
Our first speaker, I believe, that was here for the public hearing, Mr. Morstead?
Yes, sir.
Oshwald?
Did you have anything to add for our general public comment period, or were you just here to speak for the public hearing on your zoning item?
I'm just here just to speak on his behalf.
Perfect. Then we're good. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Our next speaker would be Rodney Robinson.
All right. All right. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Rodney Robinson, citizen here of Goldsboro, North Carolina. And today I am here to speak once again on behalf of my community. We have all discussed that if people in the community see something, to say something, and that's concerning our gun violence activities in the city of Goldsboro. I live in areas that are affected by gun violence. I'm always calling and reporting things that I see and things that I hear. Not only that, I've been in the midst of shootings myself. Reached out personally to some of you to let you guys know the things and the concerns that are happening in the community. But no longer will we dictate whether if we see something or say something, because the community is now saying something. So what are you going to do about it? They are making phone calls. They are sending emails. They are talking to officers and making reports of the things that's going on in their community. Now, what are we going to do with the information that they are given? I blame y'all now. It's no longer the community's fault because they are saying something. They voted you guys in. You represent us. You work for us. We are the people. And so when are we going to stand up and do something within the communities to reduce the gun violence, the activities that are going on? 13 years old, gunned down, not too far from where the mayor stayed. I was told that they were on the way home when this happened, but no concerns to stop, no concerns to see what was going on in the community, no concerns to reach out to the families. I'm tired of the lies and the deceit that you guys are portraying to my community. This is my city, and I do a great job at the things that I do to speak for our community. I hold you guys accountable in honor of Jalea Toon and others that were killed in these neighborhoods. You guys know the neighborhoods. I've sat down, emails, talked with the chief of police. I made efforts. So like I said, the accountability is on y'all now, and it's your fault. And I'm ready for y'all to do something about it and stop sitting here and allowing the things to happen the way they are happening in the city of Goldsboro.
Our next speaker is Nicole Dixon.
Good evening.
Good evening, city members, council members. I'm going to piggyback off of Mr. Rodney. I come before you today with a heavy heart and a burning question. What are we doing? Truly doing to protect our children? When many of us say it takes a village, that village includes all of us. Try not to get emotional. That village includes all of us and not just those who live in your neighborhoods and who don't look like you. Just weeks ago, our community was shaken by the tragic and senseless killing of 13-year-old Jalea Toon. Her life was stolen, and she is not the first. Our streets have become battlegrounds. Our youth, our future, are caught in the crossfire. In the wake of this tragedy, I turned to Goldsboro Police Department
2024 to 2028 strategic plan, hoping to find answers. What I found instead were promises that remain unfulfilled. Let's talk about the Community Police Services Division. According to the plan, this division is supposed to create age-appropriate activities for youth, including 16 to 17-year-olds, reinstate community-based programs like Citizens Police Academy, establish monthly neighborhoods watch meetings in every housing authority complex, provide training in schools on gun violence and gang prevention through the EKG curriculum. These are not just bullet points on a page. These are lifelines. These are the very kinds of initiatives that could have reached Jalea, the young man who took her life before tragedy struck. But when I searched the GPD website for this division, it was nowhere to be found. No contact, no updates, no evidence of action. So I ask you, who is responsible for this division? Why is it not operational? And most importantly, when will the Goldsboro Police Department begin to truly protect and serve all of its citizens, especially those in our most vulnerable communities? Over 80% of our local government's budget goes towards salaries, benefits, and equipment for this department. Funds by taxpayers, many of whom live in the very neighborhoods most affected by this violence. They deserve to see their dollars at work, not just in patrol cars and paychecks, but in prevention, and presence, and programs that build trust and save lives. We cannot afford to wait for another child to be buried before we act. The time for plans is over. The time for accountability, transparency, and implementation is now. Thank you.
That was our last speaker.
All right, we will move to section 7, our consent agenda, and I'll reserve comments to the mayor and council member comments section at the end of the meeting. But we'll move to our consent agenda. Mr. Livingston, if you'd please hear any remaining comments or questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have on our consent agenda 3 items. One is the revision of the Wayne County United Soccer Club agreement. They essentially want to start that in January as opposed to July. So that was a minor revision there. We have a municipal agreement with NC Department of Transportation for inspection of bridges on our municipal street system and approval of meeting minutes held in December. I'll entertain any questions on that.
Council, any remaining questions on items on the consent agenda? Hearing none, will entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda items 7.1 through 7.3.
So moved.
Okay.
Motion's been made and properly seconded to approve consent agenda items as presented. Please vote electronically if possible. All right, all votes having been tallied, consent agenda is approved. All right, we will move to old business. Item 8.1, advisory boards and commissions appointments. Ms. Getz, if you please brief us. I know you worked hard to work with the different boards and commissions and prepare a resolution that sits as many people as possible. Where are we?
Okay. Thank you, Council. So in your packet, you have a resolution appointing members to advisory boards and commissions. You also have another resolution commending those individuals who have served. On the original appointment resolution, we have heard from all of our boards except for the planning board. The planning board did not respond back to emails and they had not met, but there is a recommendation from the planning staff, which is listed in your resolution. Everybody else has made their recommendations and is listed on the resolution that's attached. With these appointments, we have one Parks and Rec appointment still available, a seat available on that board, and we have 3 vacant positions still available for the Mayor's Committee for Persons with Disabilities. All of the boards will be filled.
Okay. So, Council, how about we begin? There's 2 resolutions that are part of this this item of business. One is the resolution commending individuals who have served on advisory boards and commissions of the City of Goldsboro. That one is simply recognizing everyone whose terms have ended or have resigned from any board or commission. We have a motion to approve the resolution commending individuals who have served.
I make a motion that we approve that resolution.
All right. Is there a second? All right, motion's been made and properly seconded. Just for the record, this is not the full appointments resolution. This is just the resolution for appreciation. All right, and so you want us to vote on this one? All right, perfect. So with that, is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible. And again, this is just on the resolution commending individuals.
So, I mean, I don't think we should vote based on this because that's not what it says. I know it says that here, but I would much rather take a hand vote because here I'm voting to approve advisory boards and commission appointments, and I just don't.
We can break them up into two.
Yeah, I wanted to be broken up into two votes.
I know what I'm saying is right now my vote says advisory boards and commissions appointments. That's what I am voting on right here. Up here, I'm voting on the resolution. So I'm just saying, can we take a hand vote for this and then, because I don't want to vote for this right now if I'm voting for that.
Right. So the piece that we're voting on right now is exclusively the resolution commending individuals who have served on advisory boards and commissions of the city of Goldsboro, and those in favor of that specific resolution, not getting into the actual appointments resolution, vote by show of hands. All in favor, please vote by hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes. That resolution, which will be 2026, I guess probably 5, resolution commending individuals who have served on advisory boards and commissions is approved. All right, now let's get to the meat of this particular item, which is the actual appointment of new folks to serve on the advisory boards and commissions. A resolution has been drafted and prepared by our city clerk. Obviously, we can amend it or edit it. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
With Dorrell Smith, he's the student that will be on Parks and Rec. That's only a 6-month appointment.
It's for their school term.
For the school term.
Yes, sir. And then if he wants to apply for the next school term, he's welcome to do that.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
That's all right.
No, and that's a good point. This would be first time in a couple years that we've been able to secure a student to fill that spot. And so I'm excited to be able to have somebody there. I'm glad you pointed that out. Yes, sir?
A comment and a motion. Thank you to the staff for putting all the hard work into this and getting it together in a form that we can vote on. Comment number 1. Comment number 2, Madam Clerk had mentioned that the Planning Commission had not had an opportunity to vote as a group on their appointee, but the Planning Commission chairman told me that that particular person that's on the resolution is the Planning Commission is unanimously in favor of that individual that's a part of this resolution. So that being said, I would make a motion to approve the resolution as prepared and presented by staff.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion's been made and properly seconded to adopt the resolution appointing members as presented. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if you can. All right, motion passes unanimously. Boards and commissions resolution appointing members to advisory boards and commissions is approved. Madam Clerk, if you would, one more time, we still need folks for Mayor's Committee for Persons with Disabilities.
We have 3 vacant seats on the Mayor's Committee and 1 vacant seat on the Parks and Rec Advisory Board.
Perfect. So those watching, listening at home that know folks, encourage them. I'd love to be able to bring that up next meeting or next month as well.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. Let's move to item 9.1. Mr. Livingston, if you would, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have our consultant, Mr. Ted Cole with Davenport here this evening to kind of give us an update on where we're at with our CIP and a brief financial overview. We'll also be talking about this more at the retreat, but tonight it's more to kind of get the basic overview and where we're at with the CIP.
And before you begin, we are right at that 7 o'clock hour where I always poll council to see if we need nature breaks or a quick few-minute recess. Council, we keep going, or is anyone asking for a quick recess? All right, seeing none, we'll keep going. All right, yes, sir, for you.
Okay, well, thank you. Good evening. You want me to hand these out? A lot of them. You got it?
Yes, sir.
While these are coming around, I'm Ted Cole with Davenport. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I've presented to you all before. We serve as financial advisor to the city. Most of the activity surrounding that work is related to capital projects and capital planning, and that's what we're here to discuss this evening. The hard copies that are coming around are exactly the same as what's on your screen, so you can look at either and you won't be missing anything. Should I be controlling the screen? Okay. Make sure I can do that. Great. And is there a pointer on this?
I think it's the other one.
The other one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Got it. All right. Not looking for any action this evening. I know you had a long agenda with more to go, so I'll try to move through it relatively quickly, but happy to entertain questions as we go. There are a number of items in the appendix that I do not plan to go through detail surrounding some of the CIP, capital improvement plan projects that are being worked on and developed by staff, all of the details surrounding your existing debt and your financial policies. So what we're really going to cover is the top 5 items. We're going to talk about the city's bond rating. We're going to talk a little bit about general fund operations and your fund balances. We're going to talk about your existing debt profile. We're going to look specifically at FY26, that's the fiscal year we're in, FY26 capital projects, and then we're going to look at a longer term capital improvement plan that goes out to 2032 or a few years beyond that. So I'm going to start with credit ratings. You've seen this before, most of you, I believe. The city has AA credit ratings from both Moody's and Standard & Poor's. Those are the two most commonly used rating agencies. This comes into play when you're issuing debt. You have a rating on that debt. That helps inform investors about the risk of the debt, interest rates, things like that. Higher ratings are better, AAA being the highest rating any local government, state can achieve. You're a couple notches from that. Some of you may recall we had the Moody's rating reinstated back in March, and they reinstated it at the level it was previously at before they pulled it back due to delayed audits. So solid AA rating from both Moody's and Standard & Poor's. We have a few comparisons that we'll do throughout the book, and we'll look at other rated cities and towns across the country by Moody's. You can see in your same level, AA, there's like 1,300 cities and towns across the country that have a similar rating. And then within North Carolina, 24, and you can see who those are. So I would call these folks here your rating peers within North Carolina. All over different parts of the state, large, small, growing, not growing as much. So it's a very diverse group in that regard, but the commonality is they're all rated AA. Fund balance. Couple of things on this slide. On the left, we're restating your fund balance policy. It is tied to the unassigned fund balance, which is a component of the fund balance that you can find in the audit very clearly. It's the part of your fund balance over which you have the most control, the least amount of outside restrictions. And your policy states that you'd like it to be at a minimum of 10% of your budget with a target of 15% or more. We've graphed that here. Gold is the 15%, red is the minimum 10%, and you can see between fiscal year 20 and 25, this hash marked is just acknowledging that the 25 isn't officially publicly audited yet, but very good numbers here from finance that we feel good about. And the takeaway is, particularly on that unassigned fund balance, over the last 6 years, you all have significantly added to that fund balance. and really starting at a point where you were well below your policy, you were well below where the local government commission would want to see you, and as you all know, that was contributed to putting you on the unit assistance list, which you are now off of, right? You're no longer under that level of scrutiny by the local government commission because, again, you have come through a number of years where you've added to fund balance and other things have improved as well. So you are well in compliance with your current policy, actually well above compliance. You can see here when we compare you to other cities nationally or within North Carolina, you want you're the gold bar, you want that further to the right. You compare very well. So you're in compliance with your policy and then some. You compare well to other highly rated communities. And one of the things we've talked with staff about is the potential to revisit your policy and maybe strengthen it or increase the percentages. Hypothetically, if you were to do that, let's say moving the 15% to 30%, just hypothetically, on your 25 budget of $49 million, your unassigned fund balance target would be about $14.8 million. In actuality, you're sitting at about $24 million, right? So even if you were to increase your policy from 15 to 30%, your unassigned fund balance in 25 would be almost $10 million higher than what would be required under that policy. So I think there's an opportunity to consider seriously about raising the percentage of the policy. And if you do that, I guess you can still, I believe, take comfort that you would still be well and above compliance, and there would be some dollars available that you all could consider contributing to help fund capital projects, which is what we're about to get into. So I think that's something, I don't speak for you, Matt, I think that's something you all will plan to bring forward for further discussion as part of the budget. Is that fair?
That's going to be the topic at our next budget committee meeting, one of them.
And this is all really good news. I mean, solidly back in compliance, compare very well, and these level of reserves and that unassigned fund balance, almost $25 million. Keep in mind, it had gotten down to about $1.5 million. That's the level of dollars that kind of created this issue here. So something to think about. And as we get into the discussion about capital, you're going to see that we're going to show you to do this, this, or this, you might need to dedicate a certain amount of fund balance to get it done. That's why we've sort of identified these dollars that would be over and above even a higher policy level if you chose to implement that. Okay? So, tax-supported debt, this is very current. It's through and including the last borrowing we did. Your general fund is supporting about $22 million of debt. The occupancy tax fund covers about $2.5 million. All in, there's about $25 million of debt outstanding. Everything is fixed rate. The rates aren't going to change unless you do something to change them, like refinance debt. And you can see generally there's a nice downward slope to your annual payment. Every bar is a fiscal year. Starting in the year we're in, fiscal 26, the total payment between the general fund and occupancy is 4.6. It steps down, has a nice step down in 28 to 4 million, another nice step down to 3.3. All of this is creating an opportunity in the future as these payments drop to backfill with new debt or pay-go for capital projects if that's part of the strategy you want to implement. So when we start talking about the list of capital projects and the dollar amounts, we're going to start identifying a way to fund those projects, part of which will be issuing debt in the future. And as our debt is stepping down now, backfilling with new debt will help create some affordability.
Do you mind touching on a term that you just used, pay-go versus requiring new debt?
Yes.
Do you mind explaining that?
Sorry, yeah, should. Pay-go just means simply cash funding, right? Whether it's from current year revenue that you're bringing in, or it's from reserves that you've accumulated. PAYGO just means, hey, we're going to pay cash for this versus debt funding, go out and borrow and use that money. So PAYGO is cash funding. You have certain debt policies in place. This one measures how quickly you pay back your debt. Higher is better. Your green bars are higher than the red line. That's a good thing. It means you're paying back your debt rapidly. The middle one is the amount of debt outstanding as a percent of your tax base. Lower is better. Your green bars are well below the red line. You're in compliance with that policy. And in fact, you have some capacity within that policy to issue new debt. Not suggesting that's a reason to go and do it, but you are not over leveraged when we look at your debt profile. And you can see the comparison. Remember, this one lower is better. Goldsboro's in gold, and as you kind of go down the line, you can see you're at or slightly better than these green bars. That's a positive position, meaning you're less leveraged than some of your rated peers, and again, you're well below your policy. So a very reasonable conversation to be having about the potential to issue debt, right? For whatever projects it is that you all decide are the top priority. It would be a very different discussion if you were over leveraged, your debt was excessive. We would be more cautious about saying you have debt capacity. But any way we look at it across these three ratios, this is the annual payment as a percent of your budget. Lower is better. You're below your policy. You compare well, maybe a tad ahead of some of these rating peers. But the takeaway is the city has debt capacity, the ability to take on additional debt and still demonstrate a solid debt profile. But the follow-on question is, do we have debt affordability, right? It's kind of like in your personal finances. I can qualify for this loan on paper, but I got to figure out how I fit it into my monthly budget to make the payment. So the capacity is there, and now we're going to focus on, if you were to do these things, how does it impact your budget? What kind of decisions would you have to make to be able to repay that CIP program? Okay? This is where your book might come in handy. The chart's going to be real hard to see up here. But it's actually pretty simple if you just kind of work your way from left to right. Fiscal years are on the far left, and we're starting with 26, which is the year we're in. The debt service for your general fund debt and your general fund vehicle debt are laid out in columns B and C. That's debt that's already been issued. We know it to the penny. It's not going to change. And right now we have placeholders for new debt or new PAYGO cash funding. This is just your existing debt. So you have, let's call it column F. You have $4.3 million a year in 26 to pay, and then it's stepping down. Okay, these are the payments you have to make for the next decade plus. The resources in your budget to make those payments is column G, a little over $4 million. And that was the amount of money that y'all budgeted in fiscal 25, right? Not 26, but 25 for debt service. And you'll note that we are holding that constant. That's a very important concept, that even though your debt is stepping down, right, it gets down to $3 million and $2 million, we're proposing that you try to maintain that $4 million a year every year. If you were to do that, what it's going to mean is you're going to create some affordability for new projects, right? As the current debt goes down, your funding stays constant, you build some cushion. Now we know, and we've known for some time, that in 26 and 27, you're going to need $200,000 a year each year to balance out the debt, right? Because the debt payments are 4.3 and 4.2, 4.3 and 4.2 million. Your annual appropriation is a little over 4. So we got to supplement, and this is likely to come from surplus or reserves. This is something we've shared previously. It's actually a little better than our prior numbers because interest rate came in better on the last loan. But we know in 26 and 27 there'll be a couple $100,000 that need to be appropriated to balance it out. And then what you'll see there in column K is you're back to just the $4 million a year, and as these payments step down, you start to have these surpluses. And those are the dollars that could be helpful to you all to afford or help afford new projects going forward. Okay? So everything you've issued to date, I would say there's a sustainable plan in place to keep funding that. The dollars are already accounted for, knowing that we need a couple of years, grand total of about $470,000 between the 2 years to supplement this $4 million a year. Okay? Questions on that? All right, so now we're going to talk about the future. And the first thing we're going to do is isolate FY26. This is the year we're in, obviously. We're halfway through this fiscal year. This has all of the projects listed that have been, I guess I will make sure I don't misspeak here, Matt, that have been approved or budgeted. They're in various stages of being purchased. And you'll notice all of them are listed here. The grand total of all of these is about I'm going to round up, $8.5 million. You can see the funding sources. PAYGO means city cash, grants or some outside funding sources, insurance proceeds, grants. So $8.5 million. And the funding for that at the bottom is expected to come all from cash and grant or insurance proceeds. In other words, there is no debt at this time assumed to fund these projects. You've got insurance proceeds, $938,000, grant funding, $2.9 million, PAL bill, PAYGO money, that's money you get for street resurfacing, $1.2 million, and the 3.3 would be cash or fund balance. So to be clear, while there's no debt assumed here, there is the likely use of reserves to help fund some of these projects. But remember, that's why we spent time on the fund balance and talking about the dollars that you have above your policy that could be dedicated to fund balance. So that's kind of where it comes full circle. So this plan that you'll see here in a moment does anticipate some one-time dollars, likely from fund balance. Maybe in 26 you're adding to fund balance like you've done in prior years, and you're able to use some of that additional fund balance that you accumulate in 26 above and beyond what you have currently. But when we talk about the affordability of this, right? Existing debt hasn't changed, column B and C. There is no change from what we saw earlier. We have no debt running through here. This is just the 26 projects. We have the PAYGO, or the cash funding. We know in fiscal 26, it's a little over $4 million. How do we get $4 million? It's because we're assuming you have the $1.2 million from PAL bill, that's your money, plus the 3.3. So you got a little over $4 million in 26, and then we're assuming you spend that $1.2 million a year of PAL bill on street resurfacing. That's a pretty consistent number that's come in. We're assuming it gets spent every year, and our sources of funding are the same $4 million we talked about earlier, the $1.2 million a year of PAL bill, the couple years of reserves, and with those dollars, we're still short. And what this model is telling you, to make all of this work, continuing servicing this debt, fund these cash-funded projects, in addition to your $4 million, your PAL bill, this $475,000, you need about $3.3 million in FY26 to make that work. The idea would be that could come from reserves above your policy level if you chose to do that. And that's the direction staff is proceeding in at this time, because again, we're not assuming there's any debt issued for these projects, just cash funded, and the magnitude of the projects are such that we would need to anticipate about $3.3 million coming from reserves to make all of that work. Now note, just a couple years out, you start to have some surpluses. And again, this is only funding the 26 projects. We're about to start talking about 27, 28, 29. So while you do need to come up with some dollars here in 2026, a couple years later, you're back into creating those surpluses because of that constant funding of the $4 million. Okay? Any questions on that? All right, so when we talk about the broader and longer term CIP, y'all have seen this before. The city has a very, I'd call it an advanced CIP process where you have a list of projects that's pretty healthy, but importantly, you have a means to assess those projects for prioritization, looking at priority categories, high, medium, and low. You can kind of read what each of those means. Maybe you've seen some of that recently in discussions, but you've also got criteria categories, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we have is a matrix here, right? We have the criteria on the vertical axis, the priority on the horizontal axis. Funding level A, which is the highest level of funding, highest consideration for funding resources, constitutes anything that's high here and prioritization 1 and 2. And really what we're focusing on here is funding level A. I'm going to show you what falls into funding level B and C, but we're most interested tonight talking about the viability of funding level A. Okay? And it's made up of lots of projects, which I think is in the appendix if you need to get into and look at it. If not, staff can provide it. Here's a summary. So this runs from fiscal 27. Remember, 26 we've already talked about. This is 27 through 32. General fund, utility fund, stormwater, occupancy tax. We're really tonight just talking about general fund and really just talking about funding level A. So within the general fund, over this 6 years, funding level A is $29 million. Funding level B is $22 million. Funding level C is $500,000. So over this 6 years in the general fund, there's $52 million of projects identified, 29 of which is that highest level category, funding level A. I'm not going to get into it tonight, but you can see what kind of dollars are out there being discussed for utilities. Big dollars, which I know you all are aware of, but that's not what we're here to talk about this evening. Stormwater, occupancy tax. Okay? So that's a very high level CIP summary. Now we're going to drill down to what we're going to model, which is 27 to 32, general fund only, funding level A only, that $29 million. So you can see all the projects that fall into this category by year. And these parentheses, all of this is going, we're assuming most all of this is debt funded. And wherever there is a parenthetical, it's the term of the debt. So like heavy equipment, we're amortizing the debt over 10 years. Vehicles, 5 years. These paving and road projects, 10 years. So we want to make sure we're not, funding something over 20 years if it's only going to last 5 or 10 years. That's what's there. You can see the dollars, what it is per year, what it sums up to. And at the bottom, we have 2 sources of funding here. Remember, in 26, we said no debt, right? We anticipate funding with some use of fund balance, but we're not anticipating debt in 26. But 27 and beyond, We have our $1.2 million a year of PAL bill money that is going to streets. I think it has to. And then everything else is funded with debt. That's our starting point. So we've got $29 million of projects, and we got $29 million of sources. Over this 6 years, that's $7.2 million of PAL bill and $22 million in change of debt. This is the starting point, okay? It is important to note, while we're only talking about level A, there is $22 million of projects in level B. And some of those projects over time could find their way moving into a level A prioritization, right? So we're going to show you how funding level A works over this 6-year period. We are not currently modeling level B or level C. To the extent any of those projects move to level A, that would be additional projects you'd have to fund. And that's really the point of this box, is we don't want to lose sight of funding level B and C projects, because they could well move up to funding level A. So what does this look like with debt? We are going to, for the purposes of the model, we're going to issue debt at 5%, right? That's higher than current market, but we want to be a little bit conservative. And by fiscal year, 27, 28, 29, 30, 32, we're showing you how much debt we'd issue. Over that period, we get to $22 million. We also know from some of the road and paving studies that have been done previously that there's some road and paving work that needs to be done out to 35. So we've actually included here another $4 million in 33 for roads and paving and another $4 million in 35. So what I'm about to show you is funding $30 million worth of projects with debt and $7 million and change of projects with PAYGO. So it's a pretty significant amount of projects that would be getting done, and your debt profile would go from just the dark green, that's we looked at earlier, and as the old debt rolls off, we're adding new debt. Now we do peak out here a little bit higher than where we are, obviously, but then we get back into the same level fairly quickly. So what we're about to talk about is, how affordable is this? What does it mean to our budget, and in what year do we have the dollars available to do this? What I can tell you is, back to those policies, you could issue all of the debt that we're modeling here and you're still in compliance with your policies, right? So from a policy perspective, a debt capacity perspective, this works. The important question, I think, more important question perhaps for you all, is what does it mean to our budget? And a lot of numbers here, but hopefully you've got the gist of how this works. Existing debt, we've already talked about it. This is new debt to support this larger CIP. This is a new column in this chart. This is the same column, PAYGO. So now we've got existing debt, new debt, PAYGO, cash funded, and we've got these payments to make under column F, under this plan. Resources, we have the same $4,055,000, the same $1.2 million of PAL bill, 200 and some thousand for a couple of years, and we're short. We looked at it earlier. That first $3.3 million is driven by the 26 CIP, but as we add in these other years, we have additional shortfalls we have to fund, and over roughly a decade, the grand total of what we would expect to supplement would be a little over $7 million to make all of this work. So remember, you keep budgeting the $4,055,000, you keep dedicating the PAL bill money, which we've got as $1.2 million a year. We know we got to have a couple years of some, I'll call it modest fund balance contributions. And then these are more significant dollars that would need to be made available year by year, not every year, but year by year, largely front-loaded. But over the decade, it's a little over $7 million that would allow you to do all of those things and be able to demonstrate a repayment plan. And again, what are we talking about? We're talking about funding all of these projects plus the 26 projects that we talked about, which was about $8.5 million. So, we're pushing $35–40 million worth of projects. The impact of which is really, it's column M as in Michael, I think, that you would really want to focus on and be thinking about each of those budgets where that dollar amount occurs is a budget where we need to address adding more dollars to make this work. You're not going to do all of this at once. You do it every year, so it doesn't happen all at once. Any questions on that? We're in the home stretch. Last slide is just some observations, most all of which I've covered. Have done very well to get reserves back. Do think you should give some consideration and discussion to an increase in the fund balance policy. Even if you do that, there are some dollars that you've accumulated that you could make available for a capital plan. I believe that to be true. I'm comfortable with that without jeopardizing your rating. I think it's a plan the local government commission could get behind. You've got a pretty healthy general fund CIP with level A being $29 million, but all of it, A, B, and C, about $52 million. And for funding level A, over about a decade, there's about a $7 million shortfall we'd have to address. Not all at once, happens over a number of years. We need to be mindful of looking at that CIP every year and making sure we understand how funding level A changes, right? Do some of these dollars go from B to A? We want to be mindful of that. That will change the outcome. And I think a lot of this will come back to you all for further discussion as part of the budget process. Any questions?
Council comments, questions? A lot to digest, and obviously we will have other opportunities to pose questions as well. I'm going to ask one that's just kind of a surface level, complicated question, but a surface level one for right now. I'm looking on page 20, which is, just back a couple slides. On column G, we're assuming here all the way out to 2055, the exact same number for a general fund budgeted debt service. Time value of money, that $4 million in 2025 is a very different $4 million in 2045. So I think we have to look at what a realistic adjustment to that would be over the course of time. I also am a little bit curious, and maybe this is more comment than question. I'm also a little bit curious, how are you guys taking into account the 8-year revaluation schedules for property values, and are you assuming our overall budget, our overall revenues remain flat and no further development, or everything sitting where it is in 8-year adjustments?
Right. So a couple things. These are annual current year revenues that come in, right? And these are one-time dollars. If you are able to increase column G, that is a better model, right? Because we're shifting funding from one-time sources to annual ongoing sources. So that increasing column G in a sustainable way will take pressure off of M for sure. And I think it's a better model because it's current year revenues, not one-time revenues. As it relates to the growth in the tax base, the growth in the budget, we're not making any assumptions. We're just simply saying in 2025, you were able to dedicate $4,055,000. We want to keep doing that. Okay. Now, if that means instead of
don't even know what the value of a penny was, 380, so call it 400,000. You know, that was 10 pennies worth of revenue in one year, and another year maybe it's 8 pennies worth. We're not making any assumptions about that. We're not making any assumptions about what you might do to your tax rate in one year or the other. We're just simply saying we can keep dedicating the $4 million, however you can get there in your budget, and you keep dedicating the $1.2 million of PAL bill. This is the shortfall. But absolutely, if you can increase column G in some meaningful way, it's going to take pressure off of reserves and give you a more sustainable plan. But we're not making any assumptions about future tax rate decisions.
Fair enough. All right, so this is something that we will discuss many more times, and we will have presented to us in various forms at our retreat.
So the plan, Mr. Mayor, is to bring this to the Budget Committee from recommendations from staff based on what you're seeing, and based on some priorities the council's already set out to us. And then the Budget Committee and staff take those recommendations to the retreat, and we'll get a recap, again, from Davenport, a little bit different than this, but at the retreat as well.
Perfect. And council, everybody, of course, has access to the exact same information. If you have comments, feel free to get with myself, our finance director, obviously Mr. Livingston, and let's make sure that everyone's voices are heard and incorporated as we go into these different budget committee meetings. It is a complicated thing about what we're about to do. So, thank you. Anything further from you?
No, that's all.
Council, I sort of jumped to the conclusion. Any other comments, questions from y'all? All right, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ted.
All right, as we move to our next item of business, item 9.2, I'll just remind the chamber this is a business meeting and decorum is expected. And so, but with that, we'll move to item 9.2. Mr. Livingston.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an update on our MS4 stormwater permit program. As you know, we've hired our stormwater manager, and she's helping get our program where it needs to be, and she's here to give us a presentation, kind of update on where we are, where we're going. This is, yeah.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Hi. Let's hope this goes better than the first time.
Hey, this is going to be fun.
So, good evening, everyone. My name is Bobby Barnes. I'm the Stormwater Administrator. I'm here to introduce to you the National Discharge Elimination System's Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System. We have a 2026 update and work projection. Am I talking loud enough?
You good.
Okay. Our MS4, which is the Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System, is a mandate from the Clean Water Act of North Carolina. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that's me. Our MS4 is a mandate from the Clean Water Act and the NCD Department of Environmental Quality. There are 6 control measures that we must meet each year. And we use the Stormwater Management Plan as our operating procedure for those 6 minimum criteria. We are going to be updating the Stormwater Management Plan this year. Our control measure for number 1 is public education. Public education is done using the Education Action Plan from our Stormwater Management Plan, which we'll be updating as well this year, to include specific target audiences and measurable goals. We are looking to increase, I'm sorry, I did it again, didn't I? So, our control measure, number 1 is public education. We have a public education action plan within our stormwater management plan. We're going to update both of those this year. The purpose of the education is to increase public education for pollution prevention tailored to specific audiences. Part of the public education is done with the Clean Water Education Partnership of the Central Pines region, which provides information for keeping surface waterways clean and free of pollutants. We will also like to start engaging in community events to provide greater community outreach and education. We will be holding pre-construction meetings with developers once our engineering manual has been approved. This slide right here is part of our education action plan, and it goes into specific target audiences and what we're trying to implement in our education action plan. So this bottom one you'll see on here, sediment, is actually the #1 pollutant in North Carolina. And the source comes from new developments, any kind of land disturbing activity that we have. Our land use types is land development and landscaping. Our target audience is going to be developers and landscapers. And our education methods will be pre-construction meetings, community events, in person and in pamphlets. Control measure 2 is public participation, which includes public involvement and program development. And this goes back to our stormwater management plan that we'll be updating this year. So we will be asking for a public hearing for it, and we will ask for community input. Our stormwater management plan establishes, we would like mandates, our current stormwater management plan mandates that we establish a watershed stakeholders committee. So we would like to be doing that this year. And we will be holding a public hearing for adoption of erosion and sediment control ordinance, which I will go into further in a minute. And we will be requesting public participation in Creek Week from the Clean Water Education Plan. Creek Week is held every year for 1 week. It's from March 14th to 21st. Volunteers go into a creek and help remove trash. It helps keep the watershed clean and improve water quality and safeguard our drinking water. It helps reduce obstructions within the stormwater control infrastructure that can create clogging and increase flooding. Our control measure number 3 is illicit discharge detection and elimination. We have an ordinance for this currently. It is the illegal discharge control ordinance, and it's 6.6. This criteria comes directly from our ordinance, and the ordinance is meant to keep chemicals and pollutants out of our storm sewer system. This year we'll be updating the illegal discharge control ordinance. Control number 4 is construction site runoff control. And this is going to be our new ordinance that we are putting forth, the erosion and sediment control ordinance. It is to protect erosion and sediment happening on construction sites from entering the storm sewer system, because as it enters the storm sewer system, it picks up chemicals and pollutants, and then it all goes into streams, surface waters. Currently, the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality does the control measure number 4 criteria for us, as they review the plans and then they issue the NCG 01. We are looking to take over legal authority for the city this summer, and we'll be asking for a delegation from the Sedimentation Control Commission. This next slide goes into our erosion and sediment control ordinance. Currently, the NCDEQ has the authority to review plans, construction site plans for erosion and sediment control, and then they issue a NCG 01. This is our timeline for 2026. We already have a draft ordinance from the model ordinance provided to us from the SCC. And the only changes from the current law, which this is erosion and sediment control is a current law from NC State. We just are using the DEQ for this control measure. So the timeline, we're going to provide the model ordinance that we have amended to what we would like for the city into the DEQ this month. And then it will be, hang on, I've lost my thought. So we'll be providing the draft ordinance for an informal review this month to the NCDEQ, and they will push it up to the Sedimentation Control Commission for review and feedback. And then we will have to have it approved by City Council before the May 7th. So either in March or April, we will send the erosion sediment control ordinance through. The only difference between the current laws and what we are pushing for, we're pushing for all the same stuff so that it doesn't create a burden on our public developers or anything, is that we're asking for anything over half an acre to have a erosion sediment control review, and anything under a half an acre will be a land disturbance permit, previously a grading permit. Our effective date will be July 1st of this year for the erosion sediment control ordinance. Control number 5 is post-construction runoff control. This, which is all stormwater control measures that are already in place. This year we'll be increasing our inspections on all our stormwater control measures within our extraterritorial jurisdiction to ensure that they're operating properly and that regular maintenance is done. This will also help reduce local flooding. Control measure 6 is pollution prevention and our good housekeeping. Most of this is done through public works, and a lot of it is street sweeping, catch basin cleaning, preventing illicit discharge and spills. We also have training in this category, which includes staff training on chemical use, spills, and illicit discharges. This is a citywide good housekeeping measure we're also hoping to educate the public on. How to keep leaf litter from blocking our storm drains, which will also help reduce flooding. Current projects, we are updating our capital improvement projects to include stormwater infrastructure measures that we need to repair. We are updating our stormwater management plan, and we're also updating our ordinances for illegal discharge control, 6.6, watershed review board, 8.7, administrative staff, 8.4.2.2, and we'll be creating a local erosion and sediment control program. We are also in the process of updating our zoning ordinances to add safety fencing around retention ponds that could be a danger to the public. Any questions?
Council, what comments and questions do we have? Hearing none, I'll just simply ask that when you're looking at our ordinances, especially as it goes to the blown debris, we do have other ordinances in place for things like lawn care services. They're not supposed to blow leaf clippings into the street. Mm-hmm. And so, work with code enforcement. Let's make sure that our ordinances are collaborative and kind of stack on top of each other neatly and aren't just kind of sitting off on islands. And so take a look through the whole thing and make sure that we're building something that's comprehensive and works well together. Thank you for what you're doing.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Livingston, we are on item 9.3. If you would please deliver the brief or call up, I'm guessing, Jonathan.
I'll have Jonathan come up. He's been working on this, and also, as you know, our standards for four-way stops.
Mm-hmm. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. How's everybody?
Good.
As everybody's aware, back in November the 17th of 2025, we kind of adopted some guidelines we were going to go through with our always stop signs. So the intersection we're looking at tonight is Walnut Street and Claiborne. It did not meet the crash data, but it did meet the sight distance. When you're heading north on Claiborne and you get to the stop sign there where you Walnut, there's a clump of pine trees on the right hand side. It's kind of blocking view, but it's kind of staff's recommendation to install a four-way stop sign.
So, Council, you'll remember that some months ago we approved a new ordinance for four-way stops to be a little bit more prescriptive as opposed to just who wants to stop kind of thing. You're trying to mirror the DOT rules for the four-way stops and adopting their thresholds. that makes our ordinance both legally justifiable as well as predictable. So with that, are there any comments or questions on this recommendation from staff and this ordinance? Yes, sir.
Just make a comment, especially since it's my district, that the residents in that area greatly appreciate the effort that's been put into this.
Yeah.
There's been a number of accidents. I've got text messages of vehicles overturned in people's yards and such as that from the accidents there, and that. So we're here with this, and that being said, a question that I'm going to have, I might as well ask now, is where does that put us at for study with Best and Walnut? Because once this goes up, that's going to be even more of a drag strip because people are just going to use that street instead.
Right. Well, and that's just something that we're going to have to stay in front of, and like for instance, on this one, we got a petition in from the citizens in the area, so. If we want to follow the same guides, then they can send us in a petition and we'll do our study and see how it goes. We did sit down with David Perry, him and his wife, and we talked with them, and they told us the same thing about the truck being turned over in the yard and stuff. And I don't know if anybody just didn't, but there was only one crash in that area over the last 5 years. So I don't know if anybody just didn't turn it in or what, but anyway.
I think the primary concern that I've always heard, or at least the last few years, has been just speeding.
Right.
And if there's enough speeding going on, eventually there's going to be an accident. And I'd be interested to know, based on the criteria that we adopted as council, where that Best and Walnut falls in. Does it meet criteria there related to distance or site or anything, so if a petition does come forth, that we sort of know what we're going to be looking at.
Okay. Yeah, we could look into it. And at this intersection in particular, we did have Chief West did put up a speed trailer in both directions on Walnut and on Claiborne, and we got the study back from that, and there was some fast drivers through there, but.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I have a question, not about this particular one, but I didn't know, a few months ago I had mentioned to Matt, and maybe he mentioned to you about Klingman and where Stronach meets Fourth near the new social services building. Mm-hmm. And then my concerns are that you can take and turn down Stronach by the new jail, and you can just hit a straight shot all the way down to Wayne Memorial Drive nonstop. And we have much more traffic right there due to social services right there.
Right.
So I didn't know if you had any thoughts or if you had a chance to check on that.
I haven't. But at the end of the day, we passed the two guidelines, which was crash data and the site distance. Right. We can Matt, myself, Kelly, whoever. We could sit down and discuss if we want to expand that or not, and just kind of go from there.
I just didn't know if do you remember anybody saying anything to you about it? Anyone mentioning that?
I believe we got an email about it a while back, but that's when we were looking at traffic calming studies, about putting in speed humps or speed cushions or whatever, and we decided not to go that route. So, but we can, we'll sit down and discuss a little further.
Yeah, because that's my area right there, and I've had some more complaints from the people that live right there, especially with, their children playing. And,
right.
And they're just saying that now that social services right there is a lot more traffic. So I don't know if we can do a traffic study or.
Yeah, we can look at it.
Yeah,
we'll look at it.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
We have on calls that we could reach out to if we needed to.
Thank you very much.
I echo the councilwoman's concerns. I think there are other spots in the city that, and y'all, we've already had this conversation privately. I'll just go ahead and reiterate it publicly. The two criteria that we laid out are spot on. They're very good criteria. I think that there's another one that we're going to have to figure out, because there are strips just like this one that are residential areas that are long strips with no stop. And so naturally, folks gravitate towards those when they're looking to go faster. You can go further on certain streets without a stop in a residential neighborhood than you can on Ashley. Right. And so, I think that there are those things that we've we got to take a look at, but I don't know the technicals of what the DOT manual has that we can pull out of it. I don't know that. I don't pretend to be an expert, but I do think that the two pieces that we've done are good. I think that we still need another lever in there somewhere that we can pull. I know there's other parts of the city as well that have requested things, and I don't know what that looks like, but that's why y'all are making the big bucks, right?
We'll figure it out.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. Just one more comment, and I don't know how much of a problem that was before they put the new jail and then the social services there, kind of like all within a couple of months, because the even though that jail was there on William Street, they were building the extension, and then they moved all the inmates over.
Right.
So now it's like people are just constantly, and officers' traffic is just increased. So I think that's where the issue is.
Okay.
But I appreciate your help.
Yeah. We'll look into it.
So all good conversation. Is there anything else on the specific one of Walnut Street at Claiborne Street?
Just need you to take a vote on it.
I know we're getting there. Hearing none, is there a motion to adopt the ordinance establishing a four-way stop control for Walnut Street at Claiborne Street as presented?
So moved.
All right, motion been made and properly seconded to adopt the motion as presented. Please, is there any debate? Hearing none, please vote electronically if possible. Who are we waiting on? Are you able to vote by hand?
It didn't pop up.
Okay, do you mind just recording your vote for the clerk? Yes.
Affirmative.
All right, perfect. All votes have been tallied. Motion passes unanimously. Ordinance is approved.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Livingston, we'll hear your report if you have any highlights you'd like to.
Just a couple things, Mayor. First of all, I want to tell everybody Happy New Year, and I hope you had a great holidays. And on behalf of the staff, we appreciate the support that you've given us throughout the year, and we're looking forward to a constructive new year and great things happening here in Goldsboro. We're working on the retreat draft. We'll have that for you at the next council meeting so that you can see it in advance and we can talk through any kind of additions or subtractions that you might want on that draft. We've sent out direction to the department heads on the budget process so that they can go ahead and, we're leaning on pretty heavy this year to get some things in quicker so that we can have a more meaningful, robust budget discussion at our retreat on the 12th and 13th. And also, like we saw tonight, we're going to have these discussions with the budget committee prior to the 12th and 13th to bring some recommendations on that as far as the CIP, things like the debt policy and our fund balance policy, and also things like our fee schedule that we've talked about, how we want to look at those policy issues. A couple other items, just so you're aware. The Choice Neighborhood Pocket Park at the GWTA is underway. They're should be wrapping that up in a few more weeks, but I think they're just finishing up the landscaping. Also, the park, the All Accessible Park, our project at North End, it looks really, really nice. So we'll be having some ribbon cuttings for those. Just look forward to those. And that's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Livingston. All right, so with that, we will move to Mayor and Council Member comments. It is the first meeting of the month and the year, for that matter. So we will begin at the end of the day. So representative from District 1, Councilwoman, the floor is yours.
Yes, every year about this time, I talk about the property release applications that can be found at the tax office for individuals that are elderly, 65, and there is a monetary requirement. And it has helped a lot of people. Some people it hasn't, but I am a testament of knowing that it does help some. And I will have some of those at every church in my district, and you can also get them at the tax office. The second thing I wanted to talk about is we had an opportunity to go to North Drive. Councilman Boyette and the mayor and I went to North Drive to look at the community supporting schools, and it was just really awesome. They are doing an excellent job with the reading buddies and the the different individual rooms and how they do comprehensive reading. That is excellent, and I am just really impressed with Miss Bennett and Miss Velma Hartsfield, and the superintendent was there as well. The second thing, third thing I want to talk about is, we live in a fractious age, and it is very difficult to see our children being killed in this community. Now, while the last death was not in my district, it impacted all of our districts. It impacted the community. It also impacted my church community because both families are there. And it's very hard. It was very hard for those families to be in there and be in church, and on both sides. And as a mother and a councilwoman, it really, really has hurt me and touched my heart. But let me tell you what I do see. We do need some work, but let me tell you what I do see. I see organizations coming together. I see sororities and fraternities coming together, working with young girls and working with young boys. Now, it does. It takes a village. It takes a community, and it also takes a home. And I'm asking that we all come together, the home, the community, and the church. And let's work together, because I do see some good things happening. Mayor, I would also like to, I know that we have resources, that there are things that's going on in the community that our youth can be involved in. And I'm just wanting to know how we can get that out even more to make sure that the parents and the youth know about these things that are going on. I would like to see that circulated even more. But we all got to work together, the home, the community, and the church. It takes all of us. And I'm asking this year that happens. I also would like to say congratulations again to Mayor Pro Tem Weeks. I look forward to working with you even more. And also I'd like to thank Ms. Josephine for helping me get the lighting on Neal Street, because those lights have been out over there. So I want to thank her so much. If she's listening, it'll be in the notes. And I'm going to look very forward to working with everyone, and I want to thank the staff. And that's all that I ask.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman, floor is yours.
Thank you. Echo all those sentiments from Councilwoman Jones, every one of them, and completely agree with those comments. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas and off to a happy new year. Congratulations to our new Mayor Pro Tem for this year, are in order. Thank you for agreeing to serve in that capacity. I also want to say one more congratulations to our employees that were presented various certificates for their service at our recent Employee Service Award breakfast, which leads me to also, as always, thank all of our hardworking city employees, our staff, everyone that helps this city turn, because it could not happen without everyone doing their part. Every employee, every department, us. It takes a village to run a municipality as well. That's all my comments, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, floor is yours.
So I also echo and applaud Councilwoman Jones on her comments about what our city needs. I do know that we do have a community support division at our Goldsboro Police Department, and they do come out when people start neighborhood watches. The officers will come out once a month to help in the meetings, answer questions. My heart goes out to this family that has lost this child, along with all the other people that have lost children and brothers and cousins and sons and daughters over the years. I do think that we do need to do more in the community as far as getting out there, getting the people and the children to get to know our officers. I do see the officers out, and I do see them attempting to enforce the community support services now more than I had in the past. So I would like to see that happen more. I also would like to, as Councilwoman Jones said, like to see us just try to look out for each other, join together. I know we had one speaker that came up and talked about if you see something, say something. And we have been saying that a lot these past few years. If you see something, say something. And I do myself see a lot more people now that are less afraid to speak out. And so I do not want the people that are taking those opportunities and getting the heart and getting brave to speak up and say something. I do not want them to stop doing that, because that counts. People do not realize how much it matters when people, say stuff about what they see and make everyone aware of what's going on in the communities. So certainly my heart goes out to this family. I just, it's a bad situation all the way around. I also would like to congratulate once again Mayor Pro Tem Weeks on her appointment that you have this year. Yeah, it's a big responsibility. And then I'm glad to see that we are finally getting these always stop signs in. That is great. Anything that can help us from having accidents and more people getting injured, and one more thing to help making our city safer. Other than that, I'm done.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Pro Tem, floor is yours.
I love how you both said we are working hard, but we have so much more to do. And but there's the positive, and I love how you were concentrating on the positive as well. And I just wanted to honor two churches in my district, in the 5th District. Councilwoman Jones and I were able to be a part of a service, a beautiful service that was led by Pastor Danny Johnson over at Goldsboro Worship Center and Dr. Aaron McNair II at Deeper Life Church Ministries. And they did a phenomenal job of bringing us all together in unity and as a community, and then stressing also the emphasis of, we don't always have the answers. And Mr. Rodney, I want to thank you for coming up and speaking. What you said, it does impact us. And, we don't always have all the answers. But, again, this church emphasized, both of these churches coming together, the value of unity and then also the value of prayer. That prayer really can change things. So I just wanted to honor those two churches. Also, I wanted to thank the Goldsboro alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. They had a beautiful event down at the hub, and they were able to give out food and resources to our homeless and unhoused community. And so I'm grateful that the mayor allowed me to attend that on his behalf. It was a beautiful event, and I also told them that I would mention that on Thursday, January the 29th, they are having an AIDS, HIV, and mental health webinar, and you can go to their website and find out more information about that. Then next, I want to thank the Commission on Community Relations and Development. I'm looking forward, and I hope I see many of you there too, as we celebrate together at the Martin Luther King Luncheon. And so that is going to be January the 19th at the First Church. And if you haven't purchased your ticket, please go ahead and make sure you purchase your ticket. And then finally, Councilwoman Jones, I just want to say publicly, you have served our city with great excellence this last year. I have watched you attend multiple events, looked at your Facebook page, and I'm telling you, you have made a huge impact on the city of Goldsboro. And I am honored to serve with you. I'm honored to serve with all of you, but I am honored to serve with you, and you have served our city with great excellence. So well done to Councilwoman Hiawatha Jones.
Councilwoman, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Mayor. I just want to take just a second to thank Rodney and Nicole for always coming up here and standing in the gap. It does take courage, and I commend both of you for being in the trenches and being boots on the ground. And I think you're definitely worth listening to, because you are the microphones to the people that we often don't see or hear from. So thank you. Keep coming. Keep holding us accountable. I appreciate you for doing that. I also want to say to the council and remind us that I recommended us having 2 retreats a year instead of having 1 retreat 2 days straight all day long. It's a heavy lift, not just for us as council members. It's a lot of information to retain. So I want us to really consider a spring retreat and a fall retreat. I think it'll be helpful for staff as well. It's a heavy lift for them to be in that space. Our residents have to contain all of that information as well. So I'm asking you again to consider a spring and a fall retreat, or mini retreats throughout the year. It's an opportunity for us to continue to build morale and camaraderie with the staff as well as each other. So just want to throw that out there again. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To everyone, I pray that you have a blessed New Year's. I pray you all had a wonderful holiday season. I attended the funeral of Lily on Saturday, and I will tell you that I'm no stranger to death because of my past employment, but that moved me in a way that I couldn't shake, to see that baby laying in that casket. And then to read about the juveniles who are conducting the crimes in our city leads me to wonder what we need to do. I heard a lot about, it takes a village, but we can't have a village when the youth disrespect the elders and the elders are scared of the youth. So there's a disconnect that we have to get in there in the community. I always said that crime is the linchpin to poverty. And until we can continue to lift those communities up, because most of the crimes that was committed over this last crime spree that we had in the city were the LMI communities. Was no community that was well established, but a community that's low poverty, that's impoverished. And we need to do something and look into the city and to working to make sure that everybody's moving forward at the same speed. Everybody won't get there at the same time, but everybody need to be moving forward. So I ask that we support those organizations who are doing the work. We don't need another round table. We don't need to talk about anything else. We need people out there on the ground that are actually doing the work. And there are some organizations out there that are actually doing the work. So we need to get behind those organizations and support those organizations if they're out there in the trenches trying to do the work in our communities. Greet these kids. Sometimes just saying hello to these kids and stop walking past them and mean mugging them, it means the world. Just greet them, shake their hand, ask them what's up, what's good, what are you doing today, what you learned today. Just have a conversation with them. You never know how much a kind word will change somebody's outcome and outlook for that day. Rodney, I do commend you. Continue to hold us accountable. Call us out when we need to be called out so that we can do the right thing. Moving past that, the leafs and yard waste in District 6, I rode it past it all for the last 2 weeks. And I had a conversation with the city mayor. The city mayor has did something about it today. He is on it today. However, it shouldn't get to that point. We have stuff that's on the ground in District 6 that's been on the ground since September. And I'm getting emails that says, I won't even say what it says, but it says, you know, and the only way I get stuff done is if I got to raise H to get things done and get hopping and popping. And it shouldn't take that to get what the citizens are already paying for. They're paying for a service, and now they pay. There's 3 months that this individual has not received that service, but it's 3 months that he is paid for. And that's unacceptable. Safety on Collier Best Road and New Hope Road, where the gas station is going. When we voted on this gas station, the citizens that stayed in that neighborhood came out and spoke against it. Some of it is eerily the same as some of the same complaints that they have in Tucker Trace and why they don't want to see it happening. So now the safety issues are coming to pass. They got an access road that's crossing the walkway, the greenway, right there on New Hope Road. So now it's a safety hazard when they're out there riding bikes, or they're running, or they're walking their dogs. And that's without the gas station being open. There's been 5 crashes at that corner since January of last year. This is without the gas station being open. I keep asking, when are we going to do something about the traffic? So I did see a plan that there's supposed to be. So my next question was, how can we use the greenway or the running trail if it's a traffic circle with continuous traffic? So there's a lot of things that we're doing, I think, and that I said my displeasures with Mac today because it seems like the more the citizens ask for, the less they receive. And that's just my perception, especially in my district, because it seems that we have a little bit more. The perception is that we have a little bit more than others. So we build up, we don't improve the infrastructure, and we just ask the citizens to deal with it. And that's what I'm getting from the citizens. So I have rode around. There are a lot of leaves there, and now we got the new ordinance where it says we're only picking up 4 yards. Well, now I have 8 yards because you ain't picked it up in 3 or 4 weeks. So now what do I do? Do I just put up 4 yards and then keep putting it out until I get it all out of my backyard? Or are you going to come and pick it up all because you haven't picked it up in 3 or 4 months? So I'm really frustrated about that piece of it. About something simple as coming to pick up yard waste and the leaves. So I would ask that the city manager did engage. So I'm not poking fingers at the city manager, because he did engage right away today when I called him with the issues. But these are reoccurring issues. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Good comments, all as always. I'll be brief. I'm just going to reiterate something that I've already said in my meetings, with the manager and with staff. The financial status of our city is trending very strongly, very strongly. Our debt loads are down. Our general fund balance is up, is where it needs to be. The development is moving in a way that's contained, but still is certainly moving. We've got a lot of very strong indicators, but none of that matters if folks aren't getting the services that they need and that they are paying for. And so, as we look and as we get into January and February, I really want us to take a look at what tools, what equipment, what one-time purchases need to happen as part of our capital improvement plan to be able to assist in additional surveillance tools for the police. If we don't have manpower to put everybody everywhere, what technology can we leverage? What surveillance tools are out there that we want to add to our arsenal? What do we want to add in Parks and Recreation programming? I see GPD officers coaching flag football teams in Parks and Rec. I see Parks and Rec employees staying late and coaching basketball teams. One of them who absolutely smoked everybody last year. I mean, I see folks putting in the work, and I want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to support them in those things that are truly meaningful, and I believe can help prevent a lot of, or some of the things. I also want to go on record as saying thank you to the organizations that have done so much work over this last year trying to improve the city of Goldsboro. There's too many to name, so I'm not even going to try. I'm just simply going to say that there's absolutely nothing wrong with this community that cannot be fixed with what's right with this community if we all continue doing what we can do. Incremental change, one little step at a time, making a good decision each time you have the opportunity, and doing the best we can to connect with our youth. It was stated earlier, I think very accurately, right now there's an imbalance where that we have the elders in our community that are scared of the youth in our community, and there's no policing your way out of that alone. You've got to have the strong enforcement arm. I completely agree. You got to have that. You got to have that deterrent effect, but you got to have that nurture, that community piece. And I know so many who laid it all on the line over this last year trying to connect and trying to build, and have, frankly, and to still see the year end the way that it ended, I know was very disheartening for a lot of folks on kind of a macro scale. So what I want to end my comments on right here are: do not lose faith, do not give up, and do not stop trying. The reason we know that See Something, Say Something works is because within hours, the people who perpetrated that murder were in custody. Please, please, please do not stop connecting with people and helping them make good decisions to do the right thing every chance they get the opportunity. So with that concludes my comments. Mr. Lawrence talked me out of requesting a closed session for personnel this evening, so y'all can thank him for that.
Thank you, Ryan.
But
it's just a delay though till the next.
It's just a delay. But
meeting. All right.
He did talk me out of it, so I appreciate that. So with that, nothing else coming before council, entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion's been made and properly seconded to adjourn. There's no debate on a motion to adjourn. We'll vote by show of hands. All in favor, please show your hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Friends, we stand